The Syrian government has given full access to the OCHA activities in Syria in order to reach all the areas within the Syrian territory, but departing from Syria itself. This is how Damascus gave the OCHA the possibility to have access to 4 provinces in the north of Syria, very close to the Turkish-Syrian border, where humanitarian assistance were distributed to those who are in need. Mrs. Bangura was speaking about the sexual violence. As far as I'm concerned, I don't find this term very accurate. I would say sexual crimes. It's not violence. And those who perpetrate these kind of crimes should be deferred before the justice, whoever they are. And this is why the Syrian government established an official national commission to investigate all kinds of crimes, including the sexual violence against women and children. But not only that, because you have seen with me many times on the first page of the New York Times and the Washington Post and the Times and the Turkish newspapers even, many photos showing kids enrolled by the armed groups in the battles. So we have other dimensions of the crisis that should be looked into with a due consideration. I said at the beginning that the focus on the humanitarian aspect does not relate to the political fact, because the unethical political program of trading in the dramatic humanitarian situation of the Syrian refugees in terms of organizing international conferences, I would call it media international conferences on pledges and donations to the so-called refugees. This is incorrect, morally speaking, because as Mrs. Amos said, and you may be aware of that, but I will show you something that I got from the site of OCHA. In black, this is the total size of the pledges. In black, this is the part that is being fulfilled, materially speaking, concretely speaking. So out of the $1.5 billion of pledges and donations uploaded in Kuwait conference, OCHA got only, according to what Mrs. Amos said, $200 million and some. But I would like to elaborate in details on this. As far as the Syrian Humanitarian National Response Plan is concerned, meaning the money that should go to those who are in need within Syria, which is equal to the amount of $519 million out of 1.5 billion, only 20% of the pledges were paid off. Or funded up. As far as the humanitarian response plan for the Syrian refugees outside of Syria, which is equal to $1 billion according to OCHA's figures, OCHA got 19%. So these figures are extremely indicative and informative in themselves, because they show to you that what happened in Kuwait was a kind of humanitarian bazaar. just for the media to show off by these Gulf states that they care a lot about the dramatic situation of Syrian refugees, either outside or the displaced persons, internally speaking, within Syria itself. Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates pledged each one of them $300 million. The same day, and the conference was still going on in Kuwait, Saudi Arabia revoked its pledges, and United Arab Emirates retrieved its pledges, and Kuwait did not pay what it promised. So out of $1.5 billion, you have automatically $900 million outside. They will not be paid off. It's a kind of cinema, gentlemen. It's a kind of cinema. And here I am recalling myself and reminding you of the $4.5 billion pledges and donations that were pledged for the Palestinian people in Gaza in the Sharm el-Sheikh summit. None of these $4.5 billion was paid for the Palestinians in Gaza. None. The UNRWA schools destroyed by the Israelis in Gaza are still not reconstructed and rebuilt. So please, we need to look at the picture in its entirety very objectively. We have a humanitarian situation in Syria, yes. We have a humanitarian crisis in Syria, yes. We need the help of the United Nations, yes. We signed an agreement with the UN represented by OCHA, yes. We want OCHA to succeed, yes. But we and you and the United Nations should all stick to the provisions of the General Assembly Resolution 46/182, which respects the sovereignty of Syria and says that not only the sovereignty of Syria, each state's sovereignty should be respected while delivering humanitarian assistance. So we are not reinventing the wheel. All what we are saying is that, please let us work together in light and in line with the provision of the General Assembly Resolution 46/182.